Right, shalom everyone out there on YouTube. As we get started, getting ready for yet another of our Shabbat meetings here from Just a Word. This is Kazak Aliyahu Yasharal. And thank you for joining us. If it's your first time, welcome. Please subscribe if you have not done so and hit the notification bell so that you will be reminded whenever our videos go out, all right? For those who are our regulars, please please like if you like, and welcome your comments, okay? So we're just preparing, just getting started. Let's see if this works. We're having problems with connection. I don't know if the radio connection will go out. We'll try to see how it works out. And I can see in the chat, Bernie girl, shalom. Yeah, and Anne May, shalom. All right, so we have, we are live on Just a Word Radio, seeing how it goes out, and now it's disconnecting, so the radio feed will not work. So we'll go with what we have until we get better internet connection. All right, so let me just get this recorded. And all right, so yeah, we begin today. As you see, are you hot, cold, or lukewarm? A time of self-searching. That's what we'll be looking at today. But before we do so, Brother Shamuel had requested to actually make a statement to a statement before we begin. So over to our brother Shamuel.
All right, shalom everybody, shalom family, and greetings. I am going to deliver a word that it is a word in time, all right? It's a very timely message, and I pray that our hearts are really, really prepared for this one, all right? It is not my word. These are the words of the Most High. Very clear and distinct. And I didn't want to speak it directly from my mind because I knew that I might forget some of the details of this message. All right, so I pray that you prepare your hearts to listen as I share this with you. Okay. So Lamentations, Lamentations chapter 2. Verse 14. It says, let me read it whilst your prophets had nothing to tell you but lies. Their preaching deceived you by never exposing your sin. They made you think you did not need to repent. Brother Kazak, you're muted. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Okay. It says, your prophets lied to you. All right. They had nothing to tell you but lies. Their preaching deceived you, but by never exposing your sin. They made you think you did not need to repent. And so this is the word that is coming from the Most High in this time. This whole week, I've been having just visions of snakes and serpents all around.
Excuse me, bro.
All right, cool. Yes.
The verse, I got cut off. What verse did he use?
Lamentations 2 verse 14.
Okay.
This whole week I've been having visions and dreams, and all that I see is just serpents, snakes everywhere. And the sheer sizes of these serpents are actually quite scary. And I was very confused in the beginning because I just couldn't say anything. You know, I was blown away by what I was seeing, and all I felt in my spirit was to pray. And even the prayer, I couldn't say a prayer that I felt was powerful enough according to my own thinking. All I could say was, Father, be merciful, be merciful, be merciful. That is all I kept saying. And right after I said that, along within one of the days within the week, I made a few calls to some brothers and I told them, please, please, no matter what you do, be very careful. Be on the watch or on the lookout, for Satan is out there hissing and speaking lies into the ears of many people who still have itchy ears, even in the way. Many people that haven't repented, that are not leaning absolutely onto the word of the Most High. Satan is out there hissing and speaking more deceptive lies into their ears. All right. Now, I didn't know what I was saying at that time, but I just thought, let me tell these brothers this. And then I just felt the spirit of confusion. All right. The spirit of confusion, the spirit of division, the spirit of separation. And I just didn't know why, because I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Okay, so fast forward this. Many events have unfolded in the past week, and I have to share this so that I know my hands are off this message, because it's for all of us. Everywhere you are, this is for everyone that is tuned in onto the Just a Word platform. All right, so take this in all humility and begin to allow it to search through you. Okay. And mind you as well, I know we have the tendency of assuming that what the word that is coming might have been inspired by a conversation. No, this is absolutely coming from the Most High. And every time this happens, I share this and I say to people, be careful. All right. So this is exactly the message. Now, I know many of us on this platform, if asked, hey, do you trust and do you love the Most High Yahuwah with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, all your mind? Every single one of us is going to raise our hands. Yes, I do. I do. None here is actually going to deny this. But I just want to show something quickly to all of us. How we have become very good liars. Okay? And this is the Most High saying this. And that's why I'm making sure I'm speaking it exactly how it's meant to be delivered. All right. So we have been given another chance to correct our wrongs our mistakes, and that is only for those who believe they have been wrong or they were wrong. Some of us have to go back to our loved ones and say sorry. Others have to revisit friends to be that example they need to also know the way of righteousness. It has nothing to do with anyone who thinks, but wait, I was right, I was wrong. No, it has everything to do with doing what is required and what is expected of each man who is living to please the Most High. Some of us also need to call and visit family, parents, whom we have wronged and disregarded, disrespected. Others also have to go back to their parents and say sorry, sorry, and sorry throughout. Many of us need to go back into our old lives and be the light. We need to become exemplary. Some others also need to go back home and fix broken marriages and broken relationships, rather than move and settle in adulterous ones. Some others need to go back and apologize to leaders and elders that they once belonged into their fellowship, into that fellowship. Not only that, they also need to confess their sins one unto the other to make things right, not with the man or not with the people or the brethren, but with the Most High, who is calling all to this. We are not awakened to bury our falsehood. We are awakened, quickened, and made new to fix and be the light of this dark world. Many of you, the apology we owe one another is what will set the souls of our brethren free. We need to forgive. We need to repent truthfully. We need to lay aside our carnal longings, our selfish desires and intentions, and take on the will of the Most High, for this is where salvation is. When there are no secrets, there truly begins the work of freedom, and the move of the Spirit is indeed inevitable. Repentance is the continuous process of letting go and letting Yah. Even when we don't understand things, and even when we look stupid before the world for doing what Yahuwah intends for us to do, let us take comfort in that, and knowing that we are doing that which pleases only He. For why would a man with such honor and power subject himself to the world, to be ridiculed, shamed, murdered for our sakes? A man who knew no sin but was made sin for you and I. Why can we all be able to let ourselves go and our pride and also follow Him in the very same nature? This is the warning that comes forth from the Father. Just as I have forgiven you of many sins, wickedness, rebellion, is the same thing I expect of each and every one of you. You can't be my people if you cannot demonstrate this likeness. All they that are made in my image and in my likeness possess my attributes. Just as the children of the wicked one have nothing in me, so do I have nothing in common with the unforgiven. I have suffered long for you, my people, my firstborn, my chosen. And now is the time to show forth in understanding. Show forth your understanding. And look at the works that I have done for you. Let it be manifest in your lives also, that the world will know that you are indeed my people, that are set apart, holy, called, and chosen to be a holy priesthood. Let my name be glorified in your very works. You are a royal priesthood and a holy nation. Sin will not allow you near my sanctuary, as you will all perish. My holiness will not permit sin. Hence I have sent my word as promised to your father Adam on through your fathers that I will save them. He has come and now is with me. And so any man who desires my salvation will also himself walk even as Yahusha did. I made him an example for you all, including those of the world who also seek my mercy. If you want to know what right is and what it means to appease my wrath, then deny yourselves wholly and run after my example, which is in Yahusha's life. The world will not and cannot save you from me, neither will your material appetite lead you to me. Give up on yourselves and dwell with one another in love and in truth. What is required now of each one of you is endurance and patience, endurance through my word and not your own understanding. Satan seeks to sift each one of you, and only you can give into her ways. I am not the author of confusion, and never forget that. I am your restoration. I am your deliverer. I am your salvation. And if if any man seeks to please me, he or she must first deny himself and take on my word. Owe no man nothing but love. Yes, even they that hurt you deliberately. This is what my beloved Son did for you. Matthew 6 verse 4. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. This is what denying yourselves looks like according to me. Matthew 6:21. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought of your life. All haughtiness and high-mindedness need to fall away. Choose whom you will serve this day, either Yahuwah or the God of this world, whom the nations continue to show you is called Mammon, also known as the Rain Man, printed on the back of their currencies, which they deceive you with, just as it was done even in the days of old. For no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve Alua and Lucifer. Everyone on this platform, as I've said, if asked the question, do you love me, would definitely lift your hands and say, yes, I do. But in works, you all deny me. None wishing to lay down themselves as a rag, taking on the mantle of servitude, which is what I call all leaders and all they that are mine. Are we being truthful, or are we still back in the way, doing the very same thing we used to do during our previous lives in Christianity? Doing the same thing we used to do when we were back in the world? Have we come under pretense again? Offering lip services, running our mouth without thinking, without believing that what we are actually saying is false. How many of us here on this platform actually are doing the will of the Most High? This is the time and this is the hour of your examination. How many of you right at this very moment can give up everything if I tell you to do so? When I tell you to leave everything behind and move, how many of you can leave right now and go into the wilderness and not look back? How many of you can forgive and truly forgive and not hold it against any man and still be able to love the very self-same person that you forgave and live with them peaceably, amicably, as though nothing has ever happened? How many of us have truly died to ourselves? Now, how many are trying to die to themselves? You see, to die to yourself, you don't need anyone to tell you you have died to self. The very same word you honor is the very same word that will reveal to you this journey that you have begun. It is the very same word that will convict you of your wrongs. My word is what will reveal to you whether you are living as according to my way or as according to your own way. These words I speak, they are not mine, but they are the Father's. The Most High desires not to destroy his creation. Salvation can only come when there is no life in us. Salvation can only come when there is no lie in us. And in this very moment, there are still people that are holding on to lies. And lies is holding my people captive. And Satan has managed to convince you and I that we are actually meeting the criteria of the standard, of his standards. Why? Because we have some knowledge of the truth and we assume that that is enough. But what is the essence of the truth, of knowing the truth, if the truth takes no hold of your own life? What good, or what good is it? What shall it profit you? Is my word convicting us every Shabbat? Or are we rebelling against the very same word of truth? Because nobody can lie before the Most High. He seeth all things, what is done in secret, in every deep places. You can lie to Brother Samuel. You can lie to Brother Kazak. You can lie to Brother Mahat. You can lie to Brother Pedro. You can lie to any of your brothers and sisters. But you can never lie to me. If you don't see the lies that you have believed, in order to awaken from your slumber, the time and the hour is very short and it is very near. These are the times that the elders desired to know, to see, to witness, and to experience. These are the latter times I spoke of. Don't allow Satan to deceive any one of you in neglecting the truth that I continue to reveal unto you. Because when judgment comes, judgment shows no mercy. How hard is it to hear and to do these words? We are back again, walking in the ways of our fathers, offering lip services and not being practical with the word. This is the error we are in. Many have fallen away from many groups. Many have fallen away from hearing the teachers that I have sent unto you. The teachers, I promise that I will give you teachers after my own heart. Because the words they proclaim seems to be very difficult for us to hear. Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you teachers according to my own heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. I will give you teachers after my own heart. You reject the very word. You reject the very self-same prophets that I've sent unto you. What more shall I do to save you? What more can I say to save you? I have given you my word, and by doing my word, only are you guaranteed salvation. Because my word shall not change. This is why I have revealed my will to you, so as to not hold any grudge against any human. So anyone that love me and that love my dear son will indeed walk even as he walked to please me. There are no more last days. This is the very last hour, the very last minute, and the ticking seconds are now. And these difficult messages are coming in order to search out all hearts and to prepare my people that I have chosen and set apart for myself. I have sent my words, which are my spirits, and they are hovering above the face of the deep again, one more time, searching the hearts of all they that are mine. Because my sheep know my voice and they hear me. They hear me when I speak. If they cannot hear me, it's because they don't belong to my fold, my sheepfold. I have given each man free agency to do as they please. But inasmuch as I have given this word, or I've given this free agency, this ability to choose life and death, I have also shown them how they can please me by choosing life. For when they do not choose life, then they should be ready to face my wrath. You are my people. You are my creation. You are my beloved children. You will not dwell in strife, but in love. Do well and thrive in pain, in affliction, in suffering, all for the glory of my name. Do them and do these things to please me, and you shall all live. What is it that you read in the laws? How do you understand them? Because I've already said to you that wisdom is a principal thing, but in all thy getting get understanding. Ensure that you have understanding from not the philosophies or vain doctrines of the world again, but understanding that comes by me. If you don't understand my word, you will not be able to live to please me. For I have given you Yahusha, who became your propitiation. In case that word propitiation sounds so big, propitiation simply meaning the way to appease me. I am holy, and because I am holy, my holiness cannot tolerate your sin. And because I am merciful and loving, I have sent forth my love in order to atone for that wrath that is prepared for all they that are rebellious. Walk in my mercies, and you still would not. Take my yoke, and you still say no. It's a burden. Then it is not I and my salvation you desire, but it is whatever thing or whatever god or idol you have built in your heart that you desire. Choose this day who to serve. If you will serve me, serve me. And if you will not, serve the very self-same idols that you have made in your life. Shalom.
All right, shalom. As the word says, despise not prophesying. The word has been spoken. The word has gone out. Let us take heed to the word. It's very significant that the word is in line, perfectly in line with what we are bringing here today, and perfectly in line with the time that we are in tomorrow, being the day of Pentecost, the day we celebrate Pentecost. And the word is coming from Shamuel, and that's coming from me, is in perfect alignment, because Pentecost deals with surrounds the covenants, it surrounds the giving of the law, it surrounds the giving of Ruach HaKadosh, Holy Spirit. It surrounds our agreement with the Most High. So many of us are in agreement with the Most High, but we have gone on and have been brought off the narrow path and are now on the wide path. All right. I'm trying to get this thing get ready. All right. Yes. So today we're going to be looking at, are you hot, cold, or lukewarm, a time of self-searching? And you see, I didn't know what Shamuel was going to say today. And Shamuel's message is about self-searching. And you see here a time of self-searching. So the word has been confirmed. Now, when most of us here spend some time in Christianity. Now, when you come into Christianity, when you are in Christianity, most of us are fired up in Christianity. Christians are fired up for their JC, fired up. But then, guess what happens to us now who come into the truth? We realize that it was a lie. Now, having been so fired up for this JC, having been so fired up for JC, and then coming in and say, it's a lie. Guess what happens to us? We get timid and we get careful. Those who never cared about anything, they just followed the pastor head on, whatever the pastor says, whatever the religion says. Now that they realize it's a lie, now everything has to be proven. Everything has to be proven. And we are extra careful with everything that we do. Now, when we are in Christianity, we were in blind emunah, blind faith, blind. We never had any checks on our faith. That's why a Christian that is so full of faith, that Christian can be so full of faith, because there's nothing to check it, because faith is belief in that which you cannot see. And with faith, you do not have any check marks. You do not have anything checking out and saying, if this happens, then this and that and that. No, there is no such thing as that. You just believe. And so when you come into the way, that is removed. And nobody any longer just believes. Everybody now wants proof for everything. And that's where it gets tricky, because wanting proof for everything, there can no longer be blind faith. And it is good to have proof, because you have to study to show yourself approved. Everything has to match up. You have to know that this is right. But is this thing about it where we get so timid that we are afraid to show forth our emunah? And so things like our prayer life, our fasting life, etc., are affected, because once we were in Christianity, we used to do this and we used to do that, and now we are kind of tamed. That is the danger, and that is what has caused many of us to become cold or become lukewarm, because it's emunah, it is faith, emunah, that is absolutely essential to get us fired up and ready for the kingdom. So I have heard people told me that people examining everything and everything, like they mistrust you, and they say, I don't want the same thing that happened to me in Christianity happen to me. Yes? So that expression of emunah is actually not there. But we need to wake up. We need to find someone who is speaking the truth, find teachers of Yahuwah's own heart, and follow them. And the same emunah, or even greater emunah than you had in Christianity, you have to manifest it now, because that is the only way you are going to be hot. Are you hot, cold, or lukewarm? The only way you're going to be hot is if you have blind emunah, the same or even greater emunah than you had in Christianity. So the fear is that you'll be misled. Find a teacher. If you believe that just the word of Brother Chazak is not leading you in the right way, not teaching you, run away and leave him and find someone who is telling you the truth so that the emunah can be manifest in you. Okay? So we haven't even started yet, but that is the message that I'm telling you right now. Because how we handle the word we receive will determine how we end up. And so that's where we begin. We begin at Matthew 13. We're going to look at whether we're hot, cold, or lukewarm, and look at the implications of it for us today. Matthew 13, what number is that? 3?
13, 3 to 9.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to use some common passages today to illustrate what we are going to be illustrating. All right. Verse 3, please.
And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, and where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprang up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. But other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, and 60-fold, and some 30-fold. Who hath ear to hear, let him hear.
All right, so that is a parable. I mean, it's a parable that we are very, very familiar with. Okay? But what we're showing, we're going to go to verse 18 now. And what we're showing is that how the word is handled, will determine our salvation. Verse 18.
Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside.
Now the word says, in all thy getting, get what? Get understanding. So if you hear the word and you do not understand the word, hey, the wicked one will take away that which is sown. So it is very imperative that we understand the word. And that is why fellowship is absolutely important. Because when you come together, the word is spoken through fellowship, asking questions. That is when the word will be understood. And the wicked cannot take it away because we have the understanding. All right? So that is why people, and that is why I said at the beginning, find one teacher who you believe is speaking the truth and join him or her. No, not her. Teacher can be her. And join him. If you don't feel that teacher is speaking the truth, if you don't feel that we are speaking the truth here, leave us alone. Yes? Because guess what? When you move from teacher to teacher, you are going to get confused. You are going to get confused. One person might even be saying the same thing and find a different way to do it and might cause confusion. So the word has to be understood. Verse 20.
But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it.
Go ahead.
Yet hath he no root, not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended.
You see this one? These are the people who are happy when they hear the word and receive it with joy, yet has no root in himself. So he endures for a while. They have the appearance, as Shaul would say, they have the appearance of godliness. Yeah?
Yeah.
But endure it for a while. And when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, he is offended. So when the word is challenged, when the word brings through something unpleasant, then that person is offended. Continue.
Verse 22, right?
Yes.
He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful.
This is a lukewarm person. This is a lukewarm person. The cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word and become unfruitful. So he becomes lukewarm, just going through the paces, going through the routines, going through religion, going through and this, you find people who are religious, they just repeat certain things that they do over and over again with the assurance that they are righteous in their own minds. All right? But all of this can be solved. All of this can be solved by emunah. It is faith that gets us out of everything, because emunah would make us not care about the cares of this world, not care about the deceitfulness of riches, so the word can be choked. And in emunah, here in verse 21, when we have emunah, when tribulation and persecution arrives, then it means nothing to us, because we would have denied ourselves, full of emunah and ready to die for the word. So this verse 19, our understanding, when you have belief, then you will obey. There's a chain. When you believe, then you obey. When you obey, the word says, Psalms 111 verse 10, the fear of Allah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. So having emunah, you would obey. Then by obeying, you will get a good understanding. And so the enemy will not have any charge over you. So here's a good ground, the one who has emunah, verse 23. Shamuel.
Sorry. But he that received seed into good ground, is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, and some 60 and 30.
All right, so that is the good ground, the one who has emunah. Now, we have been programmed to focus on gaining the world. We have said this so many times before. Babylon programs us to not be satisfied with our lot. We are never satisfied with where we are in this world. The world has made us to believe that no matter where we have attained, even if we can buy every foolishness that comes to our mind, we should never, ever be satisfied. That is the programming, and that is what it's like it's programmed in our DNA. Go to school, get a good job, you can open a business. You make money, you open another business. You do that, you buy another business. You do that, you buy another company. You buy another, never, ever, ever satisfied. So we are programmed to gain the world. And as the Messiah said, as I said before, we'll be looking at some very simple, regular scriptures to bring out what we are doing, what we are saying. Matthew 16, 24 to 27. And Shamuel had touched on this, denying self, the importance of denying self. And it's very important that we deny self because it is something that, if we are really true, the person who has denied himself is the person that is willing to die right now. Right? That's it, take me. That's the person who has denied himself. But we can even say that, and then we go out in the world, and different challenges and our pride and our lusts, etc., will make us not deny ourselves in particular situations. And that is another thing. Matthew 16:24, read please.
Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his stake, and follow me.
All right, so here's this thing now. If any man will come after me, that is a condition. There is no way, as Shamuel was telling you in the prophecy, that if you have not denied yourself totally, if you are not willing to be like his son, to give up yourself like his son, then it makes no sense. And again, it's emunah that's going to make you deny yourself. Because if you have emunah, you believe in the Most High for everything, then you will not rest on yourself for anything. You will be willing to take anything that comes because you put your life into the Most High. So you have to deny yourself and be willing to take up your stake to follow him. So it's not going to be easy. Nobody said it will be easy, as the famous Christian song says, but it is a requirement. Because verse 25 says,
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
Now the world has taught us that to lose our life in this world, then we are worthless, we are unambitious, we are weird, we are sick, we are in a cult, etc. That's how the world programs us to be like the world. So none of us likes to hear that. So what do? We try to conform to this world. That is where you have believers now being lukewarm and cold because of the world. Whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. So we have a trade-off now. Who are we going to follow? Are we going to follow the world? Or are we going to follow the word? Simple. Verse 26.
For what is a man profited, if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
That's it. What shall a man give in exchange for his soul? So we have to now be willing to reject the world in exchange for our soul, because verse 27 tells us,
For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works.
Every man according to his works. This is how it works. And Shamuel was telling us that we are in the end time. There is no more time. Time is running out, and we have to now be focused. These things we have to bear in mind. We have to now be willing to forsake the world and the ways of the world in order to make sure that we are in position to attain unto the prize of life eternal. Tehillim 49:12-19. Read, please.
Psalms 49, verse 12. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perish.
All right, so these boastful men, these exalted men of the earth, they will be like the beasts that perish. This is a thing that we need to understand. If we are not in Yahuwah, we are going to be just like the beasts that perish. There is no value in us anymore. But if we are in Yahuwah, then we have life. Continue.
Verse 13. This their way is their folly, yet their posterity approve their sayings. Selah.
So this is their folly. This is the folly that they have programmed us into, to be in honor in this world and to reject the word. To go after everything in this world and reject the word. To feel ashamed to follow the word. Verse 14.
Like sheep, they are laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, and their beauty shall consume in the grave from their dwelling.
But the righteous now, verse 13.
Verse 13.
15, sorry.
No, 15. But Allah will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me, Selah.
That's it. That's the difference. That's the difference with the righteous. He will redeem us from the power of the grave. So if we fool around with this world, then we threaten to be like those in honor who go to the grave like beasts. So this thing that we're talking about, you notice we're talking about the world, going after the world, because that is what is on us today as believers. That is the exact position that we are in. We are faced with Babylon's system. What do? We are faced with going after paying our bills, going after the things, the goals that we have set out for ourselves, etc. But we are also programmed to go after riches. That's just how it is. What verse 16 says?
Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. 17. For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not descend after him.
Continue.
Though while he lived, he blessed his soul, and men will praise thee, when thou doest well to thyself.
Mm-hmm.
He shall go to the generation of his fathers. They shall never see light.
They shall never see light. Continue.
Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that perish.
That's it. So the man that is in honor and does not have the understanding, remember we spoke about the understanding, which is to have emunah and to obey the commandments, and that is how you get understanding. So the one who focuses on this world. So what are we saying here? We are saying that we have to stop focus on this world and start focusing more on the word, because emunah, or faith, cometh from hearing, and hearing by the word. Okay? So it's focused on the word and not on the world. That is the message that we are saying today. Because even Hamashiach was slain to receive riches in the kingdom to come. Likewise, we have to look at it that we are foregoing the riches of this world, of this life, for the riches of the time to come, because that is a promise for us. He said, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it was not so, I would have told thee, I go to prepare a place for you. And when I go to prepare a place for you, I will have you to myself, with myself. Just paraphrasing, not the exact words. Yes? He's preparing a place for us. So we have to now believe right now and focus on a better place, not on this place that we have our eyes on, or they have us programmed into to believe that this place is it. This place is not it. This place is just a grain of sand on the seashore of eternity. So we ignore the grain of sand in order to attain onto the whole sea, the whole shore of eternity. Okay? So even Hamashiach was slain to receive riches in the kingdom to come. Not this kingdom, the kingdom to come. Read Revelation 5:11 to 12, please.
Revelations, can you hear me? Revelation chapter 5.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
All right, okay. And I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels. All right, am I reading it? Round about the throne, and the beast and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands, saying
Continue.
with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing.
So the Messiah did not live his life for that day. Or else he wouldn't say, foxes have holes and birds of the air have their nests, and the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was for the time to come. So it is our life is exactly the same. It says he's the firstborn among many brethren. We are like a little similitudes to Hamashiach. We are to ignore this world and the things of this world and what is the joys and the comforts of this world in preference for the world that is to come. And everything that you hear me saying here actually was manifested in what Shamuel was saying. All right? This is just showing it in the word. And we didn't plan it. That's how the Most High does it. Okay, so likewise in the scripture, and we've showed this several times before, the good news is for the poor. It is not for the rich. Even though the rich can attain, but it's not primarily for them. It is very, very difficult for the rich to attain, by the way. So the good news is for the poor. Yeshayahu 61, verse 1 to 3. As you said, we'll be using familiar scriptures, but they profoundly highlight what we are trying to say. Isaiah 61, 1 to 3. Read, please.
The Spirit of Yahuwah Alua is upon me, because Yahuwah hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah, and the day of vengeance of our Alua, to comfort all that mourn.
Continue.
To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah, that he might be glorified.
All right, so we're gonna check out a few attributes here and ask if these attributes relate to the rich. All right, here is one of them, the meek. Are the rich, can the rich be described as the meek?
Nope.
Will the rich be the brokenhearted?
Nope.
Will the rich be the captives?
Nope.
Will the rich be in prison?
Nope.
Will the rich be mourning in Zion?
Nope.
Will the rich be in heaviness?
No.
So all of those things tell you that it is the good news for the poor. It's not the good news for the rich. Zephaniah 3, 12 to 13. Just want to lay this down. So we know when we are going through our things and we feel as if we have to do this and we have to that. Read, please, verse 12.
I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and a poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahuwah.
All right, an afflicted and poor people. It's not a good news for the rich. This is not the rich, right there. So they've programmed us to go to chase down riches, to let us know that riches are adverse to us. Materialism is adverse to us. Verse 13.
The remnant of Yasharal shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
Okay, hear this now. The remnant of Yasharal shall not do iniquity. Does it sound like the rich?
No.
Nor speak lies. Does it sound like the rich? Are the rich able to not speak lies?
No.
Eh? A deceitful tongue shall not be found in their mouth. Can the rich do without exist without being deceitful?
No, they deceive all the time.
All right. So we see we are not speaking about the rich here. So us going out in this world, chasing after that which we are chasing after, it is very adverse to us as believers. It's kind of an opposite thing. You attain in this world and you go down as a believer. You move up as a believer, you have to move down in this world. That's just how it is. So the true believer will not seek after the riches of this world. Just some verses to tell us. We've done this several times, but for this time, Revelation 2:9, I have to have the reminders. Revelation 2:9. Read, please.
All right. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
So here's a trade-off. You have works, but you have tribulation and you have poverty. But it says you are rich. This is what I just described a while ago. I said, if you are to move up in this world, then you're going to move down spiritually. If you move up spiritually, then you're going to move down in this world. So if you have works and tribulations and poverty, you are going to be rich in the eyes of the Mashiach, because he knows what you have, that you have laid up a crown of splendor for you in the kingdom to come. All right. And it says, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, which is telling us that these do not have this. So those who say they are Jews and are rich and powerful in this world are not who the Messiah is speaking to, because they do not have tribulation and poverty. Luke 18:24. Luke 18:24. Read, please.
And when Yahusha saw that he was very sorrowful, he said, how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of Allah?
That's it. This is a young man who had great riches, and he was told to sell all that he has and distribute to the poor. And when he heard it, he was very sorrowful, and he went away very sorrowful because he was very rich. Oh, we know those stories. 1 Timothy 6:17-19. Read that, please. So it is not impossible for the rich to enter the kingdom, but here is how it is now. Read, please.
Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living Elohim, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
All right, so here's the high-minded. This is the opposite of meek. That they be not high-minded. So the rich have to decide to humble themselves and do not trust in what they have, but trust in the living Allah. 18.
That they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate.
All right, so as the Mashiach says, sell all you have and give to the poor. The rich man must be willing to distribute whatever he has, willing to communicate, to give what he has to help whomever is in need of help. Verse 19.
Laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life.
All right, so that's it. That's the foundation. Be ready to distribute and to be humble. That is those who are rich, and not to trust in their uncertain riches, but to trust in the Most High. Colossians 3, verse 2. Read, please.
Set your affections on things above, not on things on the
No, sorry. Verse 1.
Okay, 3 verse 1. If ye then be risen with Mashiach, Seek those things which are above, where Mashiach sitteth on the right hand of Allah.
Continue.
Set your affections on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye
So this
are
is
dead.
what no, this is a charge for us, believers in Hamashiach, to seek those things which are above. Seek spiritual things. Seek the kingdom. Seek after the Messiah, not on things, not on the physical, tangible things that are upon this earth, not on the enjoyment that this earth brings. And we know, of course, we can't do that without going to 1 John 2:15 to 17. 1 John 2:15. Here we go.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Continue.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world.
And the world.
And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that does the will of Allah abideth forever.
So this is it, the will of Allah. That is all we are supposed to be focusing on. Set your affections on this, on doing the will of Allah. Because if we love the world, it means the love of the Father is not in us. So the pride of life, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes is not of the Father, but it is of the world. And we know who is the God of this world. And the God of this world will just lead us into sin because we love the things that are of the world. So we come to our core verse. Lukewarm, the danger of being lukewarm. Let us look at this very carefully. Revelation 3:14. Let us pay close attention to this. We've read this several times before. We are going to look carefully at it. Read it, please. Shamuel.
And unto the angel of things.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, bro? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
Okay. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things
Of the assembly.
sorry, my sorry. And unto the angel of the assembly of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Almighty, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Allah. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I will.
Hello? You got cut off there. All right. I know that works, that you are neither cold nor hot. So the Messiah is saying you are neither cold nor hot, but he would prefer if you were cold or hot. So Shamuel, why would he prefer if you were cold or hot?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me though?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you. Why would he prefer if they were cold or hot? If we were cold or hot?
Because we need to choose which master we need to be identified by the master that we serve. I mean, so if you serve Yahuwah, you need to be all in for Yahuwah. If you serve the enemy, you need to serve the enemy as well as convincingly as you possibly can. So we cannot choose. We cannot choose to have two masters. We have to decide.
All right. Hear this other side of it now. You know, when you're crossing, you have quicksand and you have one bank and you need to cross over on the other bank. We would prefer if we were on either of the banks, because as soon as you step in the quicksand, this quicksand is going to slowly pull you down to destruction. Right, Shamuel?
Very true, yeah.
When you are cold, it is easy to fire you up, to get you hot. Because look at us. When we were cold, we didn't know anything about the word. And we came into knowledge of the Most High. Right away, we were fired up. I remember when I just heard about Christianity, etc., and I just started going fired up right away because I was cold. But guess what? When you are lukewarm, Shamuel, when you become lukewarm, you fall into a comfort zone that has you in one position, one place all the time, comfortable in religion, sitting down, being like you're in quicksand, sucking you down unto destruction. Someone who is lukewarm is usually very hard to move from where that person is.
Yeah.
Very hard to take out of the comfort zone. Very, very hard. So that is why this lukewarm state, which most of us are lukewarm, I'm going to tell you that. Most of us who say we are believers, especially those who are following the way. Because remember, I told you, we were fired up in Christianity. When we came across and found out about the way, we got very careful. Our emunah, our faith, is not as before. And so we fall into a routine. Not hot, not cold, lukewarm, sitting in religion. And that is why I said the other day, why are believers so evil at times? The sinful nature. The sinful nature steps in and we just start to, all the negatives start to come out. These are the people who are lukewarm. The people who are lukewarm, you can know them by how they respond to reproof and to rebuke. People who are lukewarm will not take kindly to rebuke because it's going to take them from their comfort what? Zone. It's going to take them out of their comfort zone. They don't want that. So they get miserable. So that is why when you come into groups, it is so hard for groups that follow the way to actually continue to thrive. Because those who are in their comfort zone will eventually destabilize those who are hot or those who are cold. Because they will want the group, they will want wherever they are, they want that to remain in their comfort zone. Verse 16.
So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I'll spew thee out of my mouth.
What you get from that now, Shamuel?
Those who refuse a rebuke, those who refuse to heed to the words of the Most High, this is exactly what it says, that he has nothing to do with you. He would abandon you.
Yes, because those who are lukewarm will want to just remain where they are. Their hearts are far from him, but their mouth and their lips shout forth praise. Yeah, we shout out praise and people see us walking, they say, hey, that is a follower of the way. Hey, that is a, and don't know that we are lukewarm. So because we are lukewarm, we are not going to budge from where we are. We are going to remain. And we're going to be good for nothing. Because if we were hot, then we are ready. If we are cold, it means that we can get hot and ready.
Yeah.
But we are lukewarm, staying in limbo, in unrighteousness, thinking that we are righteous, professing righteousness. And the Messiah himself knows that we are at that position where there is nothing that can budge us. So he says, you are good for nothing, only to be spewed out of his mouth.
It's the very same thing. I mean, when we were once, I'm talking about those that once were Christians. When we were once in Christianity, the only reason why today we can hear the Most High is because we were able to admit that we were wrong where we were. Now, when we come into the truth, the very same way that we can be perfected is that if we see our wrongs again when the Most High is calling it out to us. Because the moment you hold on to it, next thing you believe, I'm part of the ecclesia, I'm part of this, I know the word, but is the world really going to end right now? You are always going to be there lacking
Yeah.
and being drawn forth and back because your faith is not what? It's not sound. You are still
Yes.
double-minded, and we know what the word says about a double-minded person, that they cannot
Mm-hmm.
receive or obtain anything from the Most High. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, and that also, what happens with being a lukewarm? There is this sense of procrastination, whereby
Yeah.
we seemingly cannot do things because we think that we still have much time. Things are still going for much longer. Like people who read, for instance, the book of Revelations a
Yeah.
thousand years ago, they said this was for the days of the end. Those
Yes.
who read 100 years ago, they said this was for the days of the end. And those who read 10 days ago, they still say this is for the time of the end. So these are the people who are staying in their lukewarm places. They don't want to move from there because they're afraid that once their mind state is exposed, then they have a lot to lose. So the lukewarm position really puts a person in a position of non-progressive.
Very,
Yes.
Yes.
very, very true. I mean, proceed to add to what Brother Pedro just said. The Most
Yeah.
High promised Adam, gave his word to Adam, and said to Adam, in 5.5 days I will send my word again and do what? And save you and restore you. Now,
Yeah.
that Adam assumed that it was literal 5 days and a half. So the Most High had to come back to reiterate that to Adam to say it is 5,500 years,
5,500 years.
which was the exact time Yahusha came, which was a very
Yes.
exact time when Yahusha came. And since Yahusha's time till our time, we are literally finishing the 6th day to enter into what? The 7th day of Yahuwah's rest. So many
Yes.
still think that the latter times that we are talking about is still some time to come. That is why the Most High is
Mm.
saying that now is the latter time. There isn't any other latter time according to my word.
Yes. Awesome.
Hallelujah.
All right. Verse 17.
Verse 17, because thou sayest, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knoweth not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked.
All right. So see, here's the attribute of those who are lukewarm. Materialism. Materialism and having material comforts.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was mocking the other day and say, oh, your belief is foolishness. Because I can't understand how you call it God. How God only only calls you when you are at your lowest. How comes he calls you at your lowest? And it was someone who had no knowledge of the word. And I told him, of course, when you are comfortable, you have no mind whatsoever for the Most High.
Yes.
When you have nothing, then you'll have to seek to someone for something. And then that is how you get to know the Most High. Because you will have nothing and no one can help you. You turn to the Most High, He helps you, then you have knowledge of Him and His existence. So the lukewarm say they are rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing. Therefore, they will stay stagnant. In our community, we have some churches that we call them society churches. These are the churches, the Christian churches that most of the upper class people, the middle class and the rich people attend. And these are the Catholic, and you have the Anglican, and then you go down the line, you have what they call Presbyterian, and then you have Baptist, and you have Methodist. So as it goes down the line, affluence goes with it. Because these rich people, fall into a comfort zone with the appearance that they are worshiping the Most High. And all they want to do, they know they are to worship the Most High, so they worship the Most High, continuing in their seeking goods, etc. So for us to move out of this lukewarm state, we are going to have to make a conscious decision. And that's why I said that most of us are lukewarm. And that is why the Most High tells us in the end, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Because Babylon gets you lukewarm, keeps you lukewarm with its, the things that you need to do to stay in it. To get out of the lukewarm state, you have to get yourself out and move out so that you can be fired up, you can be hot. All right? So, because they say they have need of nothing, they are wretched, they are miserable, they are poor and blind and naked. Now we know the blind means they cannot see. So when you are lukewarm, as we said earlier, you reject the rebukes and the reproof. You make yourself blind. As the Messiah said in John 9:43, you say you see, therefore your sin remains. So if you say, okay, I already know that. When somebody comes to you and tell you, no, that is wrong, you are not going to be able to see, you're going to be blind. And therefore your sin is going to remain because you cannot be corrected. And naked means your sins will be exposed and you will be exposed to sin. This lukewarm state is a very serious state. Right, Shamuel?
Yes. Very, very.
Very serious state. So you will not be able to see anything or know anything. That's why the Messiah said it's spew out of his mouth, because you are no good for nothing. We have to make sure we come out of this lukewarm state. Verse 18.
I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, and thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
Whole lot of food here. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire. That's why we trial by fire. That is taking ourselves out of the comfort zone, out of our lukewarm state, and being fired up, becoming hot, that thou mayest be rich. And rich there does not mean you are rich physically now. You are going to be rich spiritually. And white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed. And we know the white raiment is the righteousness of the saints. So it's real, true righteousness. And we cannot truly be righteous unless we come together and we exhort one another, we reprove one another, and we rebuke one another. So people will be seeing my errors that I cannot see, and I will be seeing people's errors that they cannot see. And when we come together and we correct each other, then our raiments can become white. And that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, the shame of your sin does not appear. And anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So when you go through the fire, it is now a willingness to be able to see. You drop all of that comfort zone thing. The, you call it, sitting back, saying, okay, I've got this. I know everything. You can't tell me anything. I understand everything. Yeah? Remove that totally, and now you will be able to see. Now, verse 19 is very significant, as it says,
as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. No. The people who are in the lukewarm state, they do not take kindly to chastening. Yes? When we are lukewarm, we do not take kindly to chastening. We want to remain in what? Comfort.
Yeah.
So we don't want anything that's going to make us uncomfortable. So don't come and rebuke me, or don't come with any chastening. But the Messiah said, if he loves you, that is what's going to happen. But you have to do what? Repent. But how does he chasten us and how does he rebuke us? He rebukes us through the ruach that he has given to his people, his sheep. So Shamuel will have his ruach. I will have his ruach. When we come together, we rebuke each other. And it will sometimes be chastening because it will be hard. Sometimes it will be embarrassing. But guess what? If we despise, where is that verse? Is it 1 Thessalonians 4:8? 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 8. Yes. Read 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 8, please, Samuel. Read from verse 7. Verse 7.
Verse 7. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So that ye were ensembles.
No.
4 verse 8.
Oh, I didn't have it on the screen. It's my bad. I thought I had put it up there.
It's on. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's on.
Verse 7.
For Allah hath not. All right. It says, for Allah hath not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness. He therefore that despiseth. Can you hear me?
Continue. Yes.
He therefore that despiseth not man, but Allah him, who hath also given unto us his Holy Spirit, or his Ruach HaKodesh.
All right, Shamal, I don't know if you're doing something else, but please pay clear attention. You are doing this at this service if you pay attention to anything else.
No, I'm actually also opening the scripture on my phone so that when your bandwidth goes low, I can also read from my phone.
Oh, but you can do it in case it goes low because the delay is kind of throwing me off.
All right, okay.
You know, like when you participate and you're part of it and it flows that way. All right.
Okay.
So when Hamashiach affects us through our brothers and our sisters, yes, to call us unto holiness and call us out of uncleanness. So our tendency, many of the times, especially when the word comes hard, is to despise the person who brings the word. But if you despise the person who brings the word, you are despising the Most High, who also has given unto us Ruach HaKodesh. Very important. So those of us who are lukewarm or cold, he will send us through his servants. And the word is going to come harsher. Let me just make this statement right here, right now. Let me go to the beginning. The word is going to go harsher to those who are lukewarm than to those who are cold. Those who are cold, maybe those who are not just being introduced to the word, which you have to take them like babies. Those who are lukewarm are those who should have known better. Should have known better. You are seasoned in it. And you have chosen to take your rest, to want to struggle to find a way of comfort, to hide from the word, to hide from the way of truth, to find a little corner where you can take your time and the word comes and you can go and touch that little word and touch that little word. You are afraid to go out and let the word hit you and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So you find that comfort zone. So the word is going to come harder to you from Hamashiach because Hamashiach knows you should have known better. So the word that comes to a lukewarm person is more like of a jolting wake-up word instead of a nice, easy exhortation and because you've heard that before, and you've heard it before, and another time, and another time, and another time, over and over again, you've heard the word. Do you expect it to come to you the same time all the time? No. It's going to come now with a really hard wake up to rough you up. Okay? Yeah.
And to add on to what you're saying as well, I think verse 6 as well is quite important, because this goes out to every one of us to understand that our accountability is not to anyone or any man, but the Most High. So look at what the Most High is saying to you, because I've often heard, it used to be my excuse as well. I got angry because they did this to me, because he hurt me, because I used to be that. And this also goes out to everybody, because if you are looking onto man, then you are going to miss this. So look at what verse 6 is saying, and then I'll try and break it down properly. It says that no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter, because that Yahuwah is the avenger of all such. Who is the avenger? Yahuwah. All right. So to those people who say, I'm not going to be obedient, I'm not going to follow the will and do the will of the Most High because I don't feel like it. I'm no longer going to be a brother to him because he said this to me. I'm no longer going to be a husband because I'm no longer going to be a friend. All those who are saying that and using in the name of free agency literally are going to have to face the Most High, because this is what the Most High has done. The Most High says all those who believe and follow him are going to leave vengeance to what? To him. In other words, these are those who believe that their accountability or their act of service, their pleasing is for him, is for the Most High and not for man. They are going to actually walk in his word, loving continually, even in the midst of affliction and what? And persecution. They are still going to walk fervently in striving to do the will that only pleases the Most High. So he says, because Yahuwah is the avenger of all such, as we also have forewarned you and testified. So people, we are playing our roles, we are being obedient, not because you are doing it for me, but because you are doing it, what? You are giving that service to the Most High, and he's the one that in the end rewards, all right?
All right. Okay, so lukewarm. It's the lukewarm people who among us who are going to not not have the drive to escape from what is coming on this earth, not have the drive to move when the Most High says we should move. In Shamuel's prophecy, he told us about the Most High speaking about they will not move when he called them to move. So we are going to show that it is a fact that we must qualify to escape. We must qualify to flee out of the midst of Babylon. So we are speaking it to people. A lot of people cannot take it. A lot of people cannot take it because they have not qualified to escape what is upon this earth. So we're going to use a this verse is the most used verse, set of verses, the most used set of verses on Just a Word for the past month or few. And we are going to go dig deeper in it. We did it on the radio. We're going to do it again today for everyone. All right? So we must be counted worthy to escape. And we're going to read the verse. Sis, Luke 21, 34 to 37, please.
All right.
Go ahead.
Verse 34. And take heed to yourself, lest any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. Should I continue? For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore,
continue,
and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come.
You're there, Shamuel?
I'm here. I read it.
Okay, I didn't hear the internet. So
Yeah, to verse 36. I read verse 36.
Okay, all right. So these verses are actually the Mashiach warning us about the end times, warning us about around this time of the age of the earth, when the tribulation will be coming upon us. And he is telling us and warning us that we must take heed lest our hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. I think we are going to be looking on the meanings of those. Yes. So take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. When you look at the meaning of the words, we get a different picture from what the verse actually looks like. So lest your hearts be overcharged. And if you look at the top right there, overcharged is from the Greek baruno, which means to burden. To burden. Now, the importance of burden is that we are in Babylon, and Babylon burdens us with what do you call it now? Insurance payment for the car,
Yeah.
monthly
Mortgage.
payment for the car, mortgage, school fees, college tuition,
Loans. Credit cards.
loans, yes, all of those things. So Mashiach says, make sure be careful you're not overcharged. You're not burdened with all these things. And it says with surfeiting, and surfeiting comes from the Greek krahipale, from the same as G726, properly a headache, from drunkenness, that is by implication debauch, a debauch, by analog a glut, surfeiting. So a glut is someone who is greedy. Yes. So it is someone who is overcharged, or burdened with the greed of this world. And we know Babylon programs us, as we said at the start, to greed, programs us to want to acquire things, to acquire quote unquote stuff, even things that we don't need, we just buy. Yeah. And over with surfeiting and drunkenness. And drunkenness means intoxication, and we know that it is spiritual because it is Babylon, that is a golden cup that makes the earth mad, and to make the earth drunken. And drunken there means that you cannot actually see what is happening. They have set up a delusion, an illusion of this world. As they like to say, the world as it is not what it seems. They set up the world to deceive us into following after this illusion of success.
Yes.
Hamashiach is saying, don't be burdened with the cares of this. Yes?
Yeah.
Let me continue. Yes, so we are with drunkenness. Now, cares of this life at the top right comes from the Greek merimna, which means distraction, solicitude, care. So the cares of this life are given through the idea of distraction. Now, the cares of this life are the things that we spoke about before, the burdens that they have on us. Yes, the rent, mortgage, this and that payment, that and that. Caring about this world and about this life. He is warning us against it. And cares of what? This life. Now, this life is very, very significant. It might sound simple. It's from the Greek biotikos, relating to the present existence of pertaining to things that pertain to this life. So it's saying, don't get caught up in the burdens and the cares of this present life. Set your affections on things above, on the life to come, and not on this life. Yes?
Yes.
And then he said, in this 36, watch ye therefore, And what's the importance of this watch? Watch ye comes from the Greek, a group now, which means to be sleepless, that is awake. Hey. So, Shamuel, will the lukewarm believer be awake, sleepless, striving towards doing the will of the Father?
No, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Yeah.
Will the cold, those who are cold, be having sleepless nights, striving to do the will of the Father?
Nope. They'll be thinking all about themselves and what matters to them according to what the world says is important.
So this promise is only for the hot. The lukewarm cannot attain unto this promise.
Only the hot.
All right.
Hmm.
So I put the wrong, I should have changed the verse up here. I have to go back here for it. So the other one says, watch therefore and pray always that he may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. We're going to see who will be worthy. Accounted worthy. From the Greek, kataxio, to deem entirely deserving. So to escape what is on this earth, we must be counted worthy. It's like a qualification. Now, do you think the lukewarm, who Hamashiach says he will spew out of his mouth, Shamuel, do you think the lukewarm will be counted worthy to escape?
There's no way. Because they are not living to please the Most High in any of what he's required of his people to be doing. Lukewarms are always in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, consistent.
And settling in a comfort zone.
Yes.
Never forget that.
Yes.
Worthy to do what? Accounted worthy to escape. So what does escape mean? It's from the Greek ekphugo, which means to flee out, to escape, flee. In other words, for us to heed this command to flee from the midst of Babylon, we have to qualify.
Wow.
It's as simple as that.
Everything that Yahuwah spoke is accurate. I don't know if anyone can see it, but I think after this teaching, match up everything that has been taught right now with the word that came. Everything is accurate. To flee, to be accounted worthy to flee. You see, many are still trapped in the idea that they still somehow need to accumulate wealth for themselves before they flee. They have convinced themselves. These are the lukewarm people, all right? Don't hate what I'm saying. Please hear me out and understand. Those that are back to pursuing the wealth, the gain, and everything that is in there again are they that are going to be caught unawares. Because why? Because they are not fully doing the word of the Most High. They are still partially. This is what we mean by a lukewarm. Because in these times, those that are for the Most High literally move once they get the word. See, when the Most High convicts you and says, go and say sorry, they don't say, no, let me wait till tomorrow morning. Right in the moment they get the phone or they walk to that house and they say sorry. These are the people that are going to be able to move before that moment or day of Yahuwah, the wrath of Yahuwah, actually comes on the earth. So please, people, this is so important. This is so important and so timely. To be accounted worthy means that to not run into some idea of something that is good. Oh, I need to do something important for Yahuwah, before I run out. Yahuwah's word is for people to do what? To flee. If ever Lot didn't flee at the word of the angels, guess what was going to happen? He was going to be consumed in it. There was not going to be, oh, he is Abraham's, he was righteous. No, there was not going to be anything. Those that say are righteous We see righteousness in their obedience, the absolute obedience, being hot consistently, constantly for the Most High. All right, Brother Kazaki, you can go on.
Right, and it's very significant that he said it. Abraham, like Abraham, the end time seed of Abraham must also look for a city. Galatians 3:27-29. Galatians 3. You see the word, let me just explain something. The word is different from they gave us in Christianity. Christianity, you just sit and wait for a rapture. So if you're new to this, or if you're just coming from Christianity, the end time path of the true believer is totally different from that of a Christian. Read, please.
All right. Galatians chapter 3, verse 27. For as many of you as have been baptized into Mashiach have put on Mashiach. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahusha.
Continue.
And if ye be Mashiachs, then are ye Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise.
All right, and here's according to the promise. But hear this now. We love to recite this. Yeah? Especially this. But hear this. If you belong to Hamashiach, then are you Abraham's seed? And here's according to the promise. The promise was for Abraham to inherit the land, to be a father of many nations, and to inherit the land. So the promise is about people and land. Guess what? The promise was passed down unto Yitzchak, Isaac. Isaac did not see the promise. The promise was passed down to Jacob. Jacob did not see the promise. We are his heirs. So because we are his heirs, we also have to look to the promise. Now, Abraham sojourned in the land of Canaan, the land that was promised to him. Yitzchak sojourned there, as did Jacob. Okay? Our people, children of Jacob, were given the land. We are now to be given back the land. But guess what? We get the land through emunah. So we have to have the emunah, we have to have the faith of Abraham. And that faith of Abraham, before he even received the land, he was told to go on the land. He was told to look for a city. He was told to move from where you are and go somewhere. Yitzchak or Isaac was told to do the same thing. The children of Yasharal were told to do the same thing. We are now told to do the same thing. We have to move. Hebrews 11, verse 8 to 10. So just like they moved, go ahead. You were saying?
No. I was saying if you want the promise, then you must heed to the instruction.
All right. Verse 8.
By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance. 11 verse 8, a bit not clear here. Okay. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive. Is it after, bro?
After receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whither he went. So Abraham was told to move. And he went, not knowing where he went. And this is our Father that we highlight so often. All right? So those who are lukewarm, this is the call. Verse 9.
Verse 9, by faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise.
So you see that call to move?
Yes.
The same call to move that Abraham and Isaac had. That's what he's calling us people to do today.
And see something there. They didn't wait to have enough to go and build houses before they moved. Or daddy didn't say, let me take the lead and the
Yes.
sons will come and join me. He moved as a head figure, as the authority of his home, his household, and his family followed him to
Mhm.
that dwelling place. And they dwelt where? In what? In tents.
Intense.
Do you see that? That is the faith. That is the emunah we are talking about. He moved there and dwelt in tents. All right.
And why did he do it? Verse 10 tells us, Shamuel.
For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is Allah.
So he looked for the kingdom to come. He was not looking in this present
Age.
in this present time, what he can see. So
Mm.
that is the emunah that we need to have, people, or else we will not be able to move out of our lukewarm state or our cold state. This is the emunah that it is needed to get us hot so that we can be accounted worthy to attain unto the kingdom of the Most High. Okay? Because let me tell you something. We can be here, and many of us are going to be here, and our belief ends up being in vain. Many of us, it ends up as being just religion, just going through a routine. Because if our hearts are not changed, hey, if our hearts are not transformed, as Samuel was speaking in the prophecy, if the Ruach Mashiach, if the Ruach of the Most High is not in us, if we do not have the similitude of the Ruach of the Most High, the similitude where he provides for all, even the wicked who hate him and go against him, he provides for them. And he keeps them from harm until a certain point. But he still keeps them. He shows them his mercy. It's the same thing we need to have. And if we don't have it, then our belief might be in vain. We cannot let our belief be in vain. All right? So Shaul was speaking here to the Corinthians, and he was saying that according to what he preached, read verse 1 to 2, please.
Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain.
Unless ye have believed in vain. I dropped off?
No, you are on.
Okay, I'm going to try to switch. It shouldn't take any time. Switch the internet and see if I'll get a better. You dropped off? Oh, so it doesn't make me switch it then. I was switching to a dropped off. All right, let's continue. Yeah. So we have to live the truth that has been taught. That's what Shaul was saying. Yeah? We cannot let our belief be in vain. We have to live the truth that we have been taught. As Mark 7:7 says, howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. So are we teaching the commandments of men, or are we following the Most High? And so this is why we teach how we teach. Everything we have a scripture for it. And everything we match up precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, here a little, there a little, in context, to make sure that what we are teaching is not what's coming from us, but what's coming straight from the Most High. So we don't want our belief to be in vain. So as I was saying before, it is emunah, faith, that does it. And we have plus love in bracket, but love comes with emunah, because you cannot have emunah in the way without having love. Because emunah in the way is following Yahushua HaMashiach. And if you follow Yahushua HaMashiach, we will go to his great commandment, which is to love one another. So love is a given when it comes to emunah in Yahushua HaMashiach. And that is the remedy. That is what takes us out of our comfort zone. That is what elevates us from our place of slumber into a place of excellence. So it is our faith, our emunah, that makes us worthy. No matter what we do, we cannot please the Most High without emunah. No matter what we do, we cannot please him without emunah. Read verse 6, please. Shamuel?
I was muted, sorry. Without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Allah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
All right, so without emunah, we have to believe that he is and that he is a rewarder to them that diligently seek him. That diligently there means a relentless seeking of the Most High. That is emunah. And without it, we cannot please the Most High. 2 Thessalonians 1, verse 3 to 12. One, 3 to 12. Read, please.
We are bound to thank Allah always for you, brethren, as it is meet, because that your faith groweth exceedingly, and the charity of every one of you all toward each other aboundeth.
All right, so here's here's how you know when the assembly is in perfection. Let me tell you something. If we come together and we cannot get all up to this place, it means that something is wrong. Yes? It means that some people have to give more and some people have to take out some more. Make adjustments for us to be together. It says, your emunah groweth exceedingly, and the love of every one of you all toward each other aboundeth. So when emunah grows, let me tell you something now. Let me tell you something. If you are together and emunah is weak, wherever you are gathered, let you see my ugly face once again. Let me let you see my face again. If we are together and there is lack of emunah, there is bound to be disharmony, because love cannot abound. Because without belief, we are going to be focusing on carnal things. We are going to be focusing on our own things. Our own personalities are going to come out, and we are going to focus on me. No denying self. Because remember, we said that emunah is necessary to deny self. Because if you deny yourself totally, you have to focus now on something that you lean on totally. So if you're not leaning totally on the Most High, then you are going to be leaning on self. Pride of life, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes is going to come in. And wherever you're assembled, it's going to be problems. So the emunah of everyone has to abound.
Yeah.
Or else it's going to be deep trouble. Let's go to verse 4. Read, please.
So that we ourselves glory in you in the assemblies of Allah for your patience and faith in all your persecutions and tribulations that ye endure.
All right, so here's the necessary thing for emunah. Patience and faith in all your persecutions and tribulations that you endure. Now, those who are in a comfort zone, as we said before, Shamuel, will not allow themselves to go through persecutions and tribulations. They will not allow it. If persecutions and tribulations come upon those of us who are who are lukewarm, then we will try to escape. So for a successful assembly, we have to have patience and emunah during our persecutions and tribulations, and we must endure it. Continue.
This is why our love for the brethren is so. It goes with feelings, because today's love that humanity has all has to do with feelings. And I mean, let's go by what the school books taught us in biology. I mean, how many times does does a chemical reaction happen in our bodies? It says every second, every changing second comes a different what? Chemical reaction. In other words, feelings. That is why your body
Yeah.
temperature is never the same. So if you are going to base your decision to do the right thing or to love according to the Most High on that, can you imagine how many changes would occur in your decisions within a minute of
Yes.
of every ticking time? This is exactly how we ought to look at this. Because you only know what love is when you endure through it by the fear or by the emunah that you have in the Most High. Your accountability. You see, those who believe, this is the separation word. Those who believe are gonna, regardless, continue what? In well doing. Whether they are offended or not, they still come back standing strong. It's like, where's my brother? Where's my brother? Knock, knock, knock. Hey, yo, I forgive you, man. Oh, no, but I did it. No, it's me. These are those who really love the Most High. Every taken second, once there's an offense,
Yes.
they are the ones to show up first. They are the ones to come to say, hey, Satan lose, the Most High win. Let me glory the Most High in obedience. So if you don't have emunah, if you don't have faith, how do you expect to be able to endure through the persecutions and afflictions when they come? Because your feelings is not going to sustain you in what? In well-doing, in your obedience. You are not going to obey because your feelings says not to. So how are you going to get through when your faith is not? So this is another way to actually examine yourself, whether you be in the faith. If when it comes to love, the harder part of love, and those who are married would understand this one. The moment when you don't feel like he did something to me, she did something to me, those who cease from it are actually going to understand that they never had love in the first place, because your understanding of love is flawed. Because love actually is needed when there is what? When there is difficulty. All right? This is what it is. When in the midst of affliction is when we know love. Because when there's no affliction or suffering, what is the use or essence of love? Everything is good, isn't it?
Yes. And that's why you cannot know true love unless you congregate together.
Yes.
And you and people get in problems together, and you grow out of that and grow in love.
Yes.
All right. 2 Thessalonians 1 verse 5.
Which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of Allah, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom of Elohim, for which ye also suffer.
Stop there. Remember we said counted worthy?
Yes. Yes.
So our suffering in patience and emunah is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of Allah. So for us to always be in a comfort zone means that Yahuwah is not with us. I tell you, sometimes when my life is too comfortable, everything is going too smooth, I start worrying. Because, trust me, too smooth. It gets worrying. God, that's not how it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be problems. There's supposed to be trials. Must. Because who Yahuwah loveth he, chasteneth.
Chasteneth, yes.
So, that he may be counted worthy of the kingdom of Allah, for which he also suffer. Do we think Yahushua HaMashiach is going to suffer for us and we just walk and dance into the kingdom?
There's no way. That's not what the word says.
We also have to suffer. But guess what? When we suffer, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith Yahuwah. Yahuwah recompenses those who cause us this tribulation. Verse 6.
I mean, Brother Kazak, before you move to verse 6.
Yes.
It is stated there. It says that ye may be counted worthy of what? Of the kingdom of Elohim, for which ye also suffer. What are we suffering? This is a good question. It's a good place to ask ourselves these questions. What am I suffering? What am I being persecuted for? What are people saying about you? Are you the nice person that always says what people want to hear? Oh, that's why I love that sister. That's why I love that brother. Oh, because, hey, they know how to encourage me even when I'm wrong. Listen, they are not helping you. If I am to tell you this right now, they are not what? Helping you. Because what? Everything that you suffer, when we talk about suffering, we are talking about doing, because when you do the word, it comes with what? Tribulation. A speaker of truth has no friends. I'm sure many of you noticed that by now. When you decide to stand on the word, when your word convicts you, I mean, look at how difficult it was when I got this word to bring forth. It was so hard because I'm thinking, who's going to be offended? And then later I just got snapped. I just got a word to say, is this your words? Are these your words? You have to speak it the exact way I've said you should. So this is the very same way when we have the truth, all right, and we speak it, people are not going to love us. These are the tribulations that we're talking about. These are the things you suffer. You are not suffering because you're telling people, you're helping a brother or sister so that you feel good about yourself. That, hey, I'm better than you. That's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. No, it's that we are all doing what? We are sharpening one another. An iron sharpeneth an iron. And this is where we are right now in this stage, in this moment of the awakening. So I'm praying that we can truthfully and thoroughly look at ourselves and say, hey, what am I really suffering? Did I take that correction well? Am I suffering because I'm doing the will of the Father? Or am I suffering because I am prideful and I refuse to take instructions and I'm this and I'm that? All right, bro, let's continue.
All right, and that, as you said, that verse in Lamentations 2, where was it again?
Lamentations 2:14.
All right, so you were actually saying about the people of the Most High, they're not going to be liked by many people, not going to be popular, not going to be loved, especially when people get closer to them. Verse 14 says,
thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity, to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment.
This verse is so powerful. I don't know how I didn't see this before. Thanks, Shamuel. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things. So if the prophets are speaking about things that are vain, things that are of this world, and have not discovered thine iniquity, that means they are not showing up your sin. So the true set-apart people of the Most High, in the end, will discover your iniquity. So the lukewarm man, as we said, will not want to hear about his iniquity, and he will rebel.
Wow.
So the true set-apart people of the Most High will show up your sins, as it says in Isaiah 58 verse 1, cry aloud, spare not. Yeah? Show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins. That's what we are called to do. In order to do what? To turn away.
Away the captivity, yes.
We are in captivity. So in order to turn away the captivity now, we have to turn to our iniquities and show each other our iniquities. So but the people who they have, go ahead.
Oh, no, finish. Just finish it and I'll say it.
Oh, so the people who they follow, give them false burdens and causes of banishment because they are not doing what? Not discovering their iniquity.
Yes.
To turn away their captivity. Go ahead.
So in other words, one way to tell a false teacher or a false prophet are those that are cheering you on into a better life.
Yes.
This is a very simple way for everyone to know this, to see this. If a prophet, listen, a prophet can speak nothing of the Most High, all right? Nothing of the Most High. A prophet who has the word, the first thing you will notice in them is that what? They tell you about repentance. Repent. That is the first sign of a prophet. Because the Most High is not interested in this world, in the things that are happening in this world. He does not concern himself with it. Because he's cursed it already and everything in it is passing away. So what he's trying to do is trying to salvage those who need to be salvaged for his next coming agenda. That is why he says, I know the plans that I have for you, which is plans to prosper you. And it's not this kind of prospering that the worldly teachers have actually taught us. It is the Most High trying to say, right now I am sending my word, my son, according to John 3:17. He is coming to show you your iniquity. And if peradventure you see your iniquity and you turn from it, then you are going to receive my salvation. which is exactly what John 3:17 says, of which many people look past. The Son of Man was not sent to condemn the world, but through him that the what? That the world might be saved. Might, not will be, might be saved, because people don't want to know their iniquity. People don't want to see their mistakes. People don't want to learn and be better people. We are comfortable in our greed, our selfishness. He says what? For Allah sent not his son into the world to condemn the world. But you know what? Once a teacher of the speaker of the truth starts to speak, what happens? People start to feel condemned. People start to think, oh, he's judging me. How dare he? He's a mortal man. He's just like me. That is Brother Kazak. That is Brother Shamal. Brother Pedro. How dare they? Who are they to tell me what they are telling me? Are they righteous? This is it. All right. But the point of the truth coming to you is not that what? You are condemned or you are being condemned. But is that what? That you see your error, your mistake. Because oftentimes our mistakes go unnoticed. And when you have a good teacher around you or a good brother or sister around you, they point it out to you to say, sister, brother, you are erring. That's a mistake. All right. And you are supposed to, this is attitude. Oh, really? I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be the approach, the humility. In these times, those who claim to be in the word, in the awakening, this is the humility. Oh, is this what? I'm so sorry. You don't even want to know the details, whether they mean it well or not. But you want to take the word that they have brought so that you can cover, you can prepare yourself. You right? As a virgin, you can prepare yourself for the return of your faithful what? Your faithful groom.
Mm.
Go ahead, Pedro.
Yes. I was saying that what Brother Shamuel is saying is quite true, and we are very much grateful for this teaching, Brother Hazak. With the issue being that we need to be humble enough, talking about us in this assembly, we need to be humble enough to be able to be sensitive enough to the Ruach HaKadosh that Father has granted us. Because every time we have to say something, every time we have to do something, we have to be in constant introspection.
Yeah.
Does Yahuwah sees what we're doing? Does he know what we are doing? Is it right? Is it wrong? Should we do it? Should we say it? So we have to be in constant questioning to ourselves so that we don't find ourselves in a position of doing wrong. And once we are in the wrong, the tendency will be to defend our wrongdoing. So we have to be sensitive enough to understand that the Ruach of the Father is within us, and every time convicting us on every issue that we do, that we say, and that is our lifestyle. We need to be able to be in constant introspection so as to keep the promise of the Father in us, that we shall walk in his way. Thank you.
It's interesting because the word says that acceptable men are what? They are tried in what? In the furnace of what?
Adversity.
So if there is no adversity, Brother Kazak, if there is no furnace, there's no fire. The furnace is not a nice place to be. In case anyone doesn't know what furnace is, just turn on your oven, all right, and put your hands in there and see what it feels like in there. All right, which I'm not encouraging you to do because it's hot, just so you know. There is nothing nice about the furnace, all right, about adversity. But this is where the Most High says what? Gold is tried in what? In fire. If you want to come out as a vessel that is honorable, all right, that is perfected, that is given so many crowns, that is being honored, that the Most High calls on your name to say, wow, this is what it takes. Humility. Humility, because in the covenant we are told that what? The stony heart is going to be taken out, and the heart of flesh. A heart of flesh, when you prick it, it feels, it is sensitive. It hears when the word comes. It's like, oh my goodness, scared, you are scared. Why? Because you have the first spirit that is given to all those who believe, which is what? The fear of Yahuwah. If you don't have the fear of Yahuwah, you cannot be perfected. You are dead in your transgression.
Uh-huh. All right. So, as we say, it's emunah. And Hamashiach asked, where is your emunah? Because our emunah makes all things possible. What are we saying here? It is emunah that we need right now at this particular time more than anything. Most of us as believers who follow the way, when we come into the way, ugly face again. When we come into the way, as I said before, it's like we kind of retract our emunah, our faith retracts from where we were before. That is, those of us who were in a previous religion. Having found that the religion is false, we retract our emunah. And when we come now to follow the way, we spend more time trying to figure out what is true from what is not true, and emunah takes a back seat. So we end up becoming more scholars than anything else. So we start searching for the old books, and we start searching and digging out, did you know this? And did you know that? And then we start finding out now the evil that is in the world. Then we start sharing things about the evil of the world. This is a lie, that is a lie. And then the emunah takes a back seat. We now start being more practical and start dealing with things that are written more than believing in that which we cannot see.
That is so true, Brother Kazak. That is so true. This is so true. And you can be stuck in there. You can be stuck in that place, which is the lukewarm. That is it. Oh, I share the truth. Oh, I take memes there. Oh, Brother Kazak, guys, brothers and sisters, I pray you are hearing this. I pray your spirit is so sensitive to hearing this word. Please continue, brother. Please continue.
Yeah. So then, no, it's emunah now is going to take us out. We have to now turn our focus on emunah. So as Hamashiach asked, where is your emunah? Luke 8:24-25, and let us not forget that all the openings that were there for people with the Messiah was through emunah. He said he came only for the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. A Gentile came, and showed emunah. Messiah said, wow, what great emunah. Take everything. Because of your emunah. Yeah. And some people lacked emunah, and the Messiah chided them for it. Lucas 8:24, read please.
Lucas 8:24. And they came to him and smote him, saying, am I right with the smote? And they came to him and awoke him, saying, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of water, and they ceased, and there was a calm.
Continue.
And he said unto them, where is your faith, or where's your emunah? And they, being afraid, wondered, saying one to another, what manner of man is this? For he commanded even the winds and water, and they obey him.
So here it is. Here's the most important thing. Where is your emunah? That's what we're asking each other now. And that's what we should ask ourselves. Where is your emunah? Yep. So we're going to look at more instances. Matityahu 17:14-21. Go ahead, please.
And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Master, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic, and we're vexed for what?
For oft times
he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. And oft into the water.
Yes.
And I brought I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Yahusha answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me.
Okay, hear this now. Just going off on a little tangent here. Imagine now a teacher today speaking like this to their brothers.
Angry.
Shamuel?
Brother, I'll come for you, brother Kazak. I will find you. If I have to come through that Zoom and catch you wherever you are, I will do that. How dare you say that to me?
Yes. And this is Hamashiach. Oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And this wasn't said in any soft and nice and gentle way. Verse 18.
And Yahusha rebuked the devil, and being departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Yahusha apart, and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Yahusha said unto them, Because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have a munah as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you.
Howbeit
this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting.
And it's very significant. We're speaking about fasting the other day in our fellowship, right? So some things cannot happen unless you go through prayer and fasting to reach to that level. So we were speaking to our brothers about the importance of fasting. And here we have another thing, that certain things you will not get happen unless you do it through prayer and fasting. And now, speaking of this, the Messiah healing and said, because of your faith, because of your emunah. I actually got a dream the other day, and it was very significant to me. And I think I've said it to someone. And I was there, I was like in a class, but I was like among little children, like about age 10, 11, thereabout. And it was in Khaki, it was all boys. And the teacher was outside the classroom and talking to a boy and telling him that he is older than the rest of the class. And she has, through her favor, she has given him the opportunity to partake of the class. He should not be so disrespectful as he has been. So after she finished talking to him, and I wanted to go and talk to him and tell him that he should just take it easy and do not disrespect. Because even when the teacher was talking to him, his face was frowning up as if he wanted to disrespect her. Anyway, we ended up on going into the class. And when we went into the classroom and we sat down and to hear the teacher, it was all boys, all Khaki. And the teacher said, all right, turn your books to Acts chapter 3. I didn't remember the chapter, but after that I remembered it. Acts chapter 3. And when I went and checked Acts chapter 3, it was when Peter and John healed the man. So I don't know if anyone get the understanding of the dream. I will continue, and then maybe later someone can tell me what they think it means, which I understand it.
All you need is faith as little, like a child's faith. Children, you know how children are? Children,
Yes.
even when they are chastised, the next minute they are back. Daddy, mommy,
Yes.
and they don't. It's like nothing ever happened. This is the faith we are talking about. This is the munah, reckless faith as that. All right, you can be able to command great things. And people will look at it and they'll be baffled. Like, what? Is this him? How? We know him. Who? Since when? But they don't know that it's a faith, the belief, all right, and trusting everything in the hands of the Most High, saying everything that I owe is to the Most High. And so when I move, I live in Him and I move in Him and I breathe because of Him. These are the people that are going to be able to say small little words and they just change and move mountains. These are the people. So, bro, that is literally, yeah.
So the significance of the older one that was giving trouble.
These are those, the wine and the old wineskin, those that cannot change. All right. They are comfortable. They think, I know it all. These are they. And I pray. You see, this what we're saying is yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and I want to say this though. No, I thought that you would catch on to what you were actually saying. The younger ones, they have this innocent emunah, but the older one was giving trouble because he was too old. So he was not exercising that humility of the younger ones.
Yes, that is it. The humility, the childlike, that innocence, the humility that doesn't care for anything. Whether I'm naked walking around here, you know, children, how children just do things anyhow. This is the humility we are talking. You go and say sorry, and you just let go of things. You just let go of things. Just let go of the weights. These are weights, and it doesn't matter whether people look at you and they laugh at you, bro. You can still do these things and not care because of your faith that holds and cleaves onto the Most High.
Yep. So that is a childlike faith that we are emunah that we need to have to go out there and to do healing in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. That's what it's telling me. That is missing. Yeah, go ahead.
So is this why he says knowledge puffs? Because that is an old guy. That's an old man. That is the bigger people. Knowledge puffs, all right?
Yes.
It puffs. This is the whole zeal without knowledge becomes, this is exactly what it is. When you don't have understanding, Brother Gazak, this is why I say wisdom is a principal thing. All right? But in all that get understanding. So that the knowledge does not puff you up. The knowledge does not turn you into an old dog with so much intellect, but somehow we don't see the exemplariness of the word that you proclaim in your own life. You and what you speak are two different things.
Yes.
Where else children, you know how children are. If you want to know what faith looks like, look at children. When children hold on to their parents, look at it.
All right. Let's go Matthew 9:28.
And when he was come down from the house,
come into the house.
When he was come into the house, the blind man came to him. And Yahushua saith unto them, Believe ye that I am able to do this? They said unto him, Yea, Master.
Continue.
Then touched he their eyes, saying, According to your faith be it unto you.
Continue.
And their eyes were opened, and Yahushua straightly charged them, saying, See that no man know this.
Well, you know that you're going to talk.
Oh, definitely.
So he said, according to your emunah, let it be done unto you. Okay?
Yeah.
So the emunah that is given to us, that is according to our measure of emunah. That is what we're given. Verse 3 of Romans 12. Read, please.
For I say, through the grace or through the favor given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Allah hath dealt to every man the measure of faith of emunah.
The measure of emunah. All right? So everyone is given a measure of emunah. So what we see as believers, we see a lot of people with different gifts, and we covet the gifts, and we don't know sometimes how much emunah it takes for that person to have that gift. Yeah? I can know, for example, people who have prophetic spirit on them go through one sort of hell and high water at times throughout their lives to be built up as prophets. Yeah. And so it's emunah that actually builds us. And Revelation 14:12, of course, tells you, here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Allah and the emunah of Yahusha. So to get us in the kingdom, emunah is one of the vital ingredients, the emunah of Yahusha. And Brother El Pedro was the one that opened my eyes and says it does not say the emunah in Yahusha, it says the emunah of Yahusha. So we have to be like Yahusha in emunah, denying everything, denying ourselves, be willing to sleep in the open air, be willing to not have anywhere to live, all of those things. Those things are emunah. So we cannot fool the Most High. Where are we? What is happening here? Let me get this thing going.
Okay.
Oh, come.
Hey, Brother Pedro, that was a good one. Hey, I also didn't see that. I didn't see
Yes.
that Revelation. So I did the faith of Yahusha. So
It is the faith of Yahushua.
the details are everything. You see, every word matters. Every word matters.
Exactly.
Oh my, wow.
Well, I cannot get to. Go ahead.
Oh, and you see, that takes me back to the question Peter asked Yahusha when he said, "Master, increase our faith," because he looked at them and he was like, "Eh." And you see, your faith can only increase by the little smaller details of obedience that you act on. That is how it starts. Most High gives you a word, you hold on to that word even if it doesn't make sense. And then until it comes to pass and understanding is given to you, then your faith begins to what? To grow, because you grow faith. That's what happens. You grow what? Faith. You don't just take it and then you take it for granted. No. Yeah, Brother Pedro, you can speak.
All right, if Pedro is not speaking.
Can you hear me?
Ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, El Pedro.
One other aspect is that, our faith will grow when we have nothing to fall back on.
Yes.
Total denial of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
When we have nothing to fall back on and we only are dependent on one Yahuwah. And
wow.
Wow.
Powerful.
Wow. So trust is the rapid response to growing faith. Absolute trust.
Yes.
Brother Pedro, you are breaking. Yeah, I wish I could hear the remaining things you're saying. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's our. Once we have said back on, the things we have something to fall back on, then we'll be divided in two. But once we deny everything about us, we focus on one, then our faith grows. Yes.
And that is why El Pedro in the assembly in the book of Acts, they had all things in common. They sold everything they had and shared it up with those who had need. And they had all things in common because they had nothing else to depend on but one another.
Yes. They didn't have a choice. They didn't leave themselves with options because, please, family, this is what is happening. I'm so happy. My spirit is bubbling so much. There's so much joy in me. Look, the only currency for growing faith is trust. I don't know if anyone gets this one. Proverbs 3 verse 5. This is it. But at the end, I will use the scripture and show people something. The only currency for growing your faith is what? Is absolute reliance on Yahuwah's word. Wow.
Yep. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in Yahuwah with all thine heart and lean not on thine own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct thy path. All right, so where are we now? Okay, we were saying that our hypocritical lives will do us no good. This not here should not be there. Will do us no good. Because the Most High sees everything and knows everything about us. The book of Abarim, Hebrews 4, verse 12. Read, please.
For the word of Allah is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of thoughts and intents of the heart.
Is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So we cannot fool the Most High. Don't think we can fool the Most High, because he discerns all things through our hearts. Yeah, so nothing is hidden from him. So it is best we be honest with ourselves. Yirmiyahu 17:10. I, Yahuwah, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. This is how we are going to end up being rewarded for what we do. So it makes sense. We know, do not depend on anything, but just depend on the Most High for everything. Just like a little child in school, depending on their parents, listening to the teacher, being meek and mild and humble. All right? Because what we have today, as we were saying about lukewarm people, these are the people who believe that if they keep the Passover, they have Psalm 91 protection automatically. And I keep the feasts and thinking about keeping the feast being the righteousness of Allah. Keeping the feast is righteousness if we keep it in righteousness. If we keep the feast for the sake of being righteous because we keep the feast, then we are going to be in trouble, because the Most High tries the reins. He knows our hearts and he knows those of us who are in righteousness. So lukewarm, those lukewarm among us, seeking to use the feast. This is what it says in Amos 5:18-24. Let's go there. Amos 5:18-24. These are verses that the Christians used to say the feasts are done away with. But they lacking the understanding that he's actually saying that he hates it because it is not done in true righteousness with a clean and pure heart. Read, please, verse 18.
Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahuwah. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahuwah is darkness and not light.
So we have a whole lot of us in the end time. Oh, I just can't wait for this world to be over. I can't wait for the Messiah to come. I can't wait for Yahuwah to destroy this place. I can't wait for this. It says, woe unto you, because if our hearts are not right, if we are not on fire, if we are having a problem. Verse 19.
As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house, and leaned his hand on the wall, and the serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahuwah be darkness, and not light, even every dark, and no brightness in it?
Very dark and no brightness in it. Now here's the verse now. Read, please.
20. Shall not the day of Yahuwah be darkness? Verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
So
in this verse,
it is not saying that he hates feasts. He's saying, I hate your feast days, the ones that are done in unrighteousness. Okay? Just to make it clear. Verse 22.
Verse 22. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou out of thy vows.
Continue.
But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. So
this is it. Let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Because they are not in righteousness, they are offering him their feast. He's saying he hates it. He despises it. So the call and the thought for us is the Most High despising our feasts that we are keeping in our different assemblies? Is there righteousness in there? If not, we might be offering in vain. Okay? And another example again, 2 Ezra 1, 28 to 40. Oh, should we do that? Let me see. We should do. How much time gone? How much time?
About 2 hours, 40 minutes.
Okay. I don't know.
Whilst you're looking for it as well, I think another precept will be the one that says, when you bring an offering onto the altar, I think Matthew 5:23 says, therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, the Most High says to leave that sacrifice. It's the very same thing. To leave that sacrifice there and go do what? And go and resolve the matter. Go and seek peace. That's more important to the Father than our sacrifice.
Yes. So you can also read 2 Ezra 1:28 to 40. Keeping his feast is not an automatical ticket to salvation. So how to stay hot? How to stay fired up for the kingdom? Some of these we might have to actually read them. They are there so you can read them. Let's go to Romans 6:15 to 23, showing us how we should be fired up for the kingdom. Read, please.
What then shall we sin, because we are not under law but under favor? Allah forbid. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to where ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness.
So we now have to become servants to righteousness and remove and cease becoming servants of sin. Okay, when we are in a comfort zone, that is where we tend to end up. We tend to end up being servants of sin, continue to repeat sin over and over again because we refuse to move from one place to the other, refuse to move to deny self. Continue.
Bring them.
Being then made free from sin, ye became the servants of righteousness.
Yeah.
I'm trying to move fast because we have another one that I want to deal with. 2 Corinthians 7 verse 1. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and ruach, perfecting holiness in the fear of Yahuwah. So because of the promises, we have to cleanse ourselves from all filthiness, perfecting holiness in the fear of Yahuwah. This is where we need to move from. We need to move into perfecting holiness through Emunah in the fear of Yahuwah. You can also read Ephesians 4:17 to 32, 1 Thessalonians 3:11, advice and instructions on how to move out of our cold or lukewarm state to become hot. Okay? So now we have for the woman. This is important for the woman. Let me explain something here. Yahuwah has something different for everyone. Let me get this verse here. The treatment of the Gentiles is different from the treatment of the Israelites. The treatment of men is different from women. The treatment of different leaders is different. Read James 3 verse 1, please. Shamuel.
Yes, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
The what? The
greater
greater.
condemnation.
So the judgment of us here who are teaching is going to be different from those who we are teaching. That's why James is advising you, do not strive to be teachers. Everyone should not want to be a teacher because the teacher is going to receive greater condemnation. Likewise, a woman is called into different account from the man. 1 Timothy 2, 9 to 15. And this is something that woman can't understand. This is something that women can't understand. Because we have been programmed. We have been programmed by Babylon. We have been programmed by Babylon to believe that all are equal. So we come before this and we have women and men, we are equal, we are all equal. That's literally nothing further from the truth. Treatment of men and women are different, and the treatment of men and women are dependent on the order that was set in the garden. The woman was made from the rib of the man. The woman was made to be a helpmeet to the man. But the woman wanted to be wise, wanted to instruct, wanted to teach, and usurp the authority of the man. So the judgment of the woman is dependent on that happened then. The judgment of the man is dependent on that happened then. If I as a man allow a woman to rule me, then I cannot see or strive for eternal life because I have not overturned and restored the order. I have not restored and gone back unto holiness. A man cannot be holy. In the book of Hebrews, it says, seek ye peace or shalom and holiness, without which no man shall see Allah. A man cannot be holy, which means perfect and without blemish, if he allows a woman to rule him. So the order has to be reverted, and the woman now has to allow herself to go under subjection and not usurp authority over the man. That is the lot for the woman. It's as simple as that. And so that is why the judgment was given in Genesis that the woman must have her desire will be to her husband, and he shall rule over thee. That is a command in the Torah, that the man rule over thee. Now, if the man does not rule over thee, if you are ruling over the man, then you have transgressed the commandment straight off from the beginning, and your religion will be in vain. We are trying to tell women, and we have got a lot of hate for it. Yeah? A lot of hate we have gotten, that we hate women, and we this and we that, just because we have gotten the insight into it. We don't study the scripture for our benefit. I don't study it for my benefit. I don't have a woman or desire a woman as a wife to rule her over her or anything. I'm saying it because it is in scripture and it is scriptural. The woman without the man, without you being in subjection to the man, then you're going to be in problems in the end. Because 1 Timothy 2, verse 9. So a woman cannot in the end be fired up and ready if she's not in subjection to and usurping authority over a man. No way.
Yeah.
Verse 9, please.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array.
A woman's problem is her pride. That is why it says, adorn yourself modestly with shamefacedness and sobriety. Sobriety, subjection, I think. Yeah. So you do that Not with the broidered hair and gold and pearls and costly array, because your pride will be turned up. And when a woman's pride is turned up, they cannot be in subjection. Verse 10.
Can we look at the definitions of those words? Because
Okay.
I know you're trying to skim through it, but these are very important
Yeah.
words. Sobriety, what is shamefacedness? So sobriety here, I would say the quality or state of being very sober-minded, right?
Yeah.
Sober-minded, not allow
Self-control.
self-control. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And then what is modesty? Let's look at modesty as well. That will be the quality of not being too proud or confident about yourself or your abilities. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very important, which is an attribute that many
Mm-hmm.
women find very hard to the character that many women find difficult to take on. It's always, I want to be significant, I want to be heard, I want to be heard, and that can cause the whole table to be turned. So there has to be the sober-mindedness, meaning that either way, in your feminine stride that you are in, you are still accepted if you play the very role that the Most High has made you to play, even if it sounds so silly and simple, like childbearing, like helping, like cooking, like the very essential things that we know, the feminine energy. I mean, how can I not miss what my mom, all that she did at home? With living alone, actually, it makes you see the essence of why Yahuwah made the woman, all right, to play that role, which a man can never play. So that is the modesty that we are talking about, the quality of not being too proud or confident about yourself or your abilities. Although you can do this, don't use it against the man. Now, what is shamefaced? Shamefaced is a shamefaced will be let me just, I'm just trying to get all the definitions together. If you have any, you can add on to it, bro.
Yeah, bashfulness through the idea of downcast eyes. Bashfulness.
Bashfulness. So showing shame. All right,
Yes.
showing shame. And we all know today many don't possess this attribute. I see many loud women out there always shouting and insulting and degrading, just literally, it's everything the scripture says is right before us in this generation, and still many cannot see and understand that the scriptures are true. All right, so that is what being shamefaced means. Okay, we can continue.
All right, but which, verse 10?
But which becometh women professing holiness with good works.
So when you're professing holiness with good works, then you would not dress in the way that he just told us about. Broidered hair, gold, pearls, costly array. That's exactly what it's saying. Verse 11.
Verse 11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
Continue.
And just to expand on this as well, with all subjection. When it comes to this word, many women feel so threatened by it. It sounds like slavery. But forgetting that even it is required even in the man to subject themselves to the authority of Yahusha.
Yes.
Subjection goes across both male and female, not usurping the order. So if you want to subject yourself to what you deem is worthy for you to subject yourself to, then you are not in obedience. You cannot choose what to subject yourself to. It says, the head of Mashiach is the Most High Yahuwah. The head of man is who? Yahusha. And the head of the woman is the man. Now, a righteous man does not take this as a moment to trample down a woman. That's not the point here. The point is the Most High wants to restore his way, his word. And Brother Pedro, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, most of these things are happening because of serving two masters. The scripture says that you shall teach the child the way of Yahuwah from when he's young, so that when he grows, he does not divert from it.
Yes.
But now what happens is we are taught when we grow up, we go to school and we are trained to serve Mammon. Now, by serving Mammon, which is an idol in its own right, then we become so much proud. Especially now, you find that you have more women employed than men. They earn more money than men, so they are empowered. And for that, it's one way that the enemy is using in order to get the woman to disrespect the authority set by Yahuwah. So therefore, the issue of serving Mammon, as we are now being trained, because by going to school, we are only being trained to be a workforce for the master. That causes us, our women, to be that proud.
So not forgetting also that the empowerment comes from the God of this earth. So who is the God of this earth? It's Lucifer. Lucifer is whom all the entertainers and the leaders call the rain man. They call it because Lucifer gives what? All the worldly and materialistic things, empowers women into positions that doesn't help them, but make them what? Make their pride very magnified, and they can help themselves, but to be arrogant, to fall for all the very same thing that Yahuwah says he hates. And this is a trap that we are talking about. To identify the enemy, you need to identify the enemy and the schemes. These are the schemes. All right, it's a trap.
And we have to also understand, Shamuel, that we are in a programmed society that is programmed to rebel against the true ways of the Most High. When we wake up and realize that we are Israelites in captivity, we have to now go back and look in the scriptures to see how our people lived. And not strive to live how we live. So when we are in this world, women are going to have dominance. It's going to be like foolish for a woman to be humble and show humility, etc. But guess what? How can you enter the kingdom without, while rejecting the ways of the kingdom?
Yes.
Doesn't make sense.
At all. At all. In other words, the world is helping all of us, both male and female, to actually fail before the Most High. Because that's all Satan is doing. Is helping each and every one of us. Oh, it's power, more power. Oh, it's this, it's that. Now I don't have to subject myself to a man. You see, the enemy is helping you to fail at the very same thing that the Most High requires for you to do in order to obtain his salvation. This is a trick of the enemy right now that we are all fighting to undo the bad indoctrinations. There is nothing, who says there's something wrong in being a leader who serves his people, serves the people? Isn't it what Yahusha did? Who says it's wrong being a woman serving your husband, serving the ecclesia? It's even there in Luke. If I missed it, it's Luke 8 verse 1 on Luke, where the women who were filled with were cast out, the demons were cast out, and then guess what they did? They went to sell everything they had and came to do what? They came to service the assembly. There is nothing wrong with that. This is what you don't have to stand in front of millions of people and be speaking to them in order to find relevance or significance or think you are doing the will of the Father. The will of the Father, you please him by doing his word, literally. Not what you think, not leaning onto your own understanding. So it says what? And it came to pass afterward that he went throughout every city and village, preaching and shewing the glad tidings of the kingdom of Alua. And the 12 were with him, and certain women which had been healed of evil spirit and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils, and Joanna the wife of Chuza, Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others, which ministered unto him of their substance. This is it. The women didn't have to be speakers. They didn't have to be teachers. They didn't have to be all these things that Babylon tells you. When you do it, you'll find fulfillment, and that is your purpose. It's a lie of the devil. Purpose is in obedience to the Torah, to the will, to the word, which is the spirit, the ruach of the Father. That is what pleases Yahuwah. Simplicity is what the word is about. Can you do the simple things he's saying to do? This is it. All right, so the world will tell you that you are irrelevant, brother, if you are doing these things.
Yeah. So all they did was to help Yahusha minister things unto him, help him out with what they had. And that was, they are in the scriptures in the Bible forever to be seen.
And
Yeah,
spoken of. Yeah.
and spoken of. Yeah. All right. So we are at verse what? 12.
12. Yeah. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over man, but to be in silence.
To be in silence. So it's the men who do the teaching. Woman must not usurp the authority over the man. Oi. And our women have been so primed, it is so hard for them to obey this. So they often rebel against this. This is what has messed up our assembly right throughout. Right throughout, a woman right there all the while causing problems, because what the women do, when this gets to them and they cannot express themselves, then they start destabilizing and they start using their woman charm and they start until they cause destruction. Even while they have left, their destruction still remains. Woe be unto those women who take not heed unto the word of the Most High and continue to so do. Verse 13.
For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
So
And
this is
Adam
the
was
authority. This is the authority, the order of the authority. Adam, then Eve. But the serpent did not go to Adam. Adam was not deceived. It was a woman that was deceived, but the woman used her charm and overturned the authority to corrupt the man. And so it is today. The woman can easily be deceived, but the man can easily be overturned by the woman through the charms of the woman. Verse 14, read please.
Before you move on to verse 14, this is what the charm is, right? There is nothing new under the sun. The very same charm that is used on our women today. The charm that was used in the garden was the very same thing Satan teaching Eve, all these beautifying artifacts and all that. That she saw that, wow, this makes me what? Obtain the ability to be able to manipulate, to deceive. That is why it says to guide wittingly. That's what the word wise there means, to guide wittingly. So you use what Babylon gives you, the power, all these feminine power, the makeups, the cosmetics. This is all to what? To influence, because this is what it's all about. To manipulate and to create influence, false influence. So that is what we're talking about. This is why today all men are filled with so much lust. Men cannot think anymore because every time men look on social media is to look at a naked woman. Everywhere we look is just nakedness and lust and lust. This is what it's about. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. And that was the deception.
Yes.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety.
Saved in childbearing, because she would have married to a man and being in subjection to a man, and continue in faith and love with and holiness with subjection. So the woman has to humble herself and be in subjection to overturn the order that was overturned by Eve, to restore the order, rather, that was overturned by Qua. So just have to put that in for the woman. It's not just the same thing as the men. There's an extra thing that you need to pay attention to, and that is subjection to the men. And men now have to pay attention to being subjection to Hamashiach. Okay? So, to end it all, this is the last thing where we're at. Remember, the Mashiach says, who he loves, he chastens. We must all endure chastening. And as we said before, those who are lukewarm are going to reject chastening. We must all endure chastening. Hebrews 12, 3-17. This should be the last thing that we look on. Hebrews 12, 3 to 17. Go, please.
All right. For consider him that endured such contradictions of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds.
All right. So what he's actually saying now, he's actually preparing us to say the chastening that is coming upon you is nothing compared to what Hamashiach went through. Because verse 4 says, hello? Shamuel. Just falling off. Oh, Nikita, he has fallen off. All right, let me just continue. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. So it's actually saying, you have not yet offered up yourself on the stake for the sin of people. So no chastening that you have can compare to what Hamashiach went through. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yahuwah, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom Yahuwah loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receives. So whom he loves, he disciplines, and whips, scourgeth, he whips every son whom he receiveth. So we as believers who have come to the Most High, don't think it will be a stroll on the beach on a Sunday afternoon. It's going to be rough if we are to move into being hot. If we are lukewarm, we are going to turn away from the chastening, and it will be of no benefit to us. We will run from it. Yes? For
Yes.
whom Yahuwah loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Verse 7. Go ahead, please.
Verse 7. If ye endure chastening, Yahuwah dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?
So, if you endure it, he deals with you as with sons. So not everyone is going to endure it. But if we want to move from one level to a higher level, we have to endure the chastening. Verse 8.
But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye bastards, then are ye bastards and not sons.
Okay. So if you run away from the chastisement, if you don't partake of it, then your walk will be in vain. You would then be in religion, just waiting to hear, depart from me, I never knew you. Verse 9.
Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?
Continue.
For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness.
You see, he chastens us to benefit us, that we might be partakers of his holiness. So the chastening leads us unto holiness. Very important that we understand this and not run away from the chastening. Verse 11.
Verse 11. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby.
All right, so whatever we go through, at the time we're going through it, it seems grievous. It's not joyful, but in the end, it's righteousness that is going to manifest. So our choice is, what do we want? Do we want to be comfortable? Or do we want to move from righteousness unto holiness? And that is what the lukewarm believer doesn't care about. He is more concerned with remaining comfortable, giving himself the illusion that he is righteous, rather than to be chastened and to move onto a higher level of righteousness. That's why the Messiah said the lukewarm is going to be spewed out of his mouth. It's kind of a state of worthlessness, and we don't know that we are in worthlessness. Verse 12.
Verse 12. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees.
Continue.
And make straight path for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned
out of the way.
But let it rather be healed.
But let it rather be healed. So it's actually saying that when it's time to come for chastening, don't take yourself out of the way. Put yourself in the way. Present yourself in the way so that you can be chastened. And verse 14 says,
full of peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see Yahuwah.
So without chastening, we cannot be brought unto holiness. So we need to follow peace with everyone and holiness, and that will allow us to see Yahuwah. Verse 15.
Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the favor of Yahuwah, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
A lot of people have let down their guards. And when we speak here, like just a word, people say we speak too many things, like we want to frighten people and we want to this. No, we have to speak. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the favor of Yahuwah. So we have to speak the word, lest any root of bitterness springing trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. We have to speak these words to ensure that we are led on to righteousness. Verse 16.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Continue.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears.
All right, so what Shaul is actually telling us here, using Esau as an example, is that there comes a time when the Most High closes the shop. When he speaks and he speaks and he tries and you keep rejecting it, he just says up and say, that's it. And that's what the Messiah meant. That's what the Messiah meant when he said he will spew you out of his mouth. That's what he meant. There comes a time, and you can go to Psalm 81. Psalm 81. I had to use this the other day. Where is it? Psalm 81. Read, please. 11 to 12.
But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own hearts lust, and they walked in their own counsels.
That's it. If he speaks and we do not want to take his chastening, we don't want to have anything to do with him, Israel would none of me, then he's going to give us up to our own heart's lust. He's going to just allow us to believe whatever we want to believe and walk in our own counsels, whatever teaching, whatever thing we want, that's what he's going to let us walk in. Yes? So if we're following a false teaching and we are being corrected and we refuse the correction, he is going to make the false doctrine look like it is the truth. Allow you to walk in whatever you want to believe. That is what it means with the chastening. If he is chastening you, lest anyone be like Esau. Afterward, he found no place of repentance. When he was repenting, he was rejected. We don't want to be like that. Okay? So this is what we have to present today. Hope you got something from it, as we did. Hope it, you know, hope it caused something to stir inside of you as it did in us. Okay? So, yeah, for those out there who we might have some people who are members of our group, we are having a fellowship meeting afterwards in continuance. We want to discuss a couple of things, especially as it also regards tomorrow, the Pentecost, and other things as well. So if you are on YouTube, you can come and sign in into our group so that we can speak together and fellowship together on this here Shabbat. All right. So that's what I have to say. What does El Pedro? I hope you haven't run. Is El Pedro there? Has he run away? Has he run away as yet?
He's there. Yay!
El Pedro, want to hear from you, El Pedro.
Well, I just have to be very grateful to our Father for this teaching, because as we also sit in front of many other people to teach, we have to be fed enough with the truth so that we can be able to give it to others. And the lukewarmness that happens in the world is because, in fact, is because of the lack of faith, lack of emunah. We are not sure of the position that we occupy in the society, especially within the community of Yahuwah. So we stay in one place where we believe that this is okay for us, knowing that many of us came from a position whereby we feel, or we were taught, that Yahuwah does our will. We command Yahuwah to do what we want. And this is contrary to the truth, because we must do the will of Yahuwah, follow his instructions, and follow his word. So therefore, this teaches us that we need to be able to position ourselves so that we should not be spewed out by Yahuwah. We need to be in a place where he can elevate us, or we stay in a place where we are acceptable to him. Therefore, I am very grateful, and I pray especially for the sisters. Sisters, we had this talk today with sisters about a lot of things that they find appropriate for them to do, like buying hair extensions and the eyelashes and a lot of things, disregarding their own beauty, disregarding the word of Yahuwah that he says whatever he created is good. So they went on doing that. Therefore, men look at those hair extensions and those eyelashes, and they fall in love with those, but they don't see the head, they don't see the eyes. Women, sisters, need to be able to heed to the instructions of the Father, so that you and those who are under you may live, because without obedience there is no life in us. We need to be able to say enough is enough with all these Babylonian teachings and customs. We need now to learn how our fathers, those who went before us, how did they live in obedience to the Father, so that we can also follow the road, so that we may live. Hallelujah.
Right. All praises to the Most High. Before Shamal goes up, there is a question here. How do you grow your emunah if life is all smooth sailing? That's a very good question. If your life is all smooth sailing, then something is wrong. If you want to grow your emunah, just pray to the Most High and ask him to do that, and watch what happens. I'm very sure that you will take you through. You were saying something, El Pedro?
Yes, to answer that, also just to add on to what Brother Hazak is saying, you know, when your life is smooth and you have everything, you are very much dependent on the things that you have. So therefore, you can never be fully dependent on Yahuwah as to grow your faith. But then you can still be able to grow, even though your life is smooth. Try to see the things that you have as if you don't have them. Position yourself in a position of not having them or not depending on them. Deny them and face only Yahweh, and then your faith shall grow.
Yes, and as
Thank you.
Shaul says, to be ready to distribute, to be ready to communicate, to be ready to give them away.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. Shamuel.
Cicely Shiva was asked a question as well about what if you have credit cards and all these bills that are pending over your head? What do you do? You know,
if you have what?
If you have all these Babylon's burdens upon you, like payment of credit card loans and all that, what does one do to show that one's heart is not vested in the Babylonian system? Because you have to pay for those things. So do you go about pursuing with money to sort it out? Is that a right mindset? Or do you just get up and run? And
all right, is that as long as you stay in Babylon, you have to serve the system. So what you would have to do in a case like that is to figure out how you can get rid of this burden and how can you get out of the system. So you have to find a way to get out of the system and to shed certain of these responsibilities. Yes? Until you can eventually totally get out of Babylon. Because that's how they set the system. If you are in there any at all, you're going to depend on the system. That's why the most I said you have to move, flee out of the midst. Oh, Shamuel, let's get your summary. Yeah.
Matthew, can you turn to Matthew 18:21 for me?
Matthew
18:21.
Yep.
You know, Peter was thinking there was a cap to forgiveness. All right. And I'm going to stay on this. Peter was thinking what? Just as many of us also was thinking there was a cap or a limitation to what? To forgiveness. This is very important because I know forgiveness is going to grow in many. Unforgiveness is going to grow in many as a sycamore tree. So this is very important. Many are missing the mark because of unforgiveness. All it takes is for you to learn and know how to forgive, and you will be free and experience this joy that we are talking about. So Peter came, all right? Then came Peter to him and said, Master, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times. Yahushua saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain man which would take account of his servants. So I just want to stay on this one here. Just to stay on this one here. It is very imperative that you know that forgiving anyone is your service to the Most High. You're not doing the one you're forgiving a favor. Please, don't miss this. You forgiving is actually your healing. It's actually your growing. All right? Is actually an indication of your emunah, of your faith. This is what it is. So many people are going to have to learn to mend many things, all right, by learning to forgive, because unforgiveness before the Most High is like murder. It's like killing somebody. So you may as well take the knife and go start stabbing people. So those who refuse to not forgive, you need to know that there is still what? You still are also in transgression of the will of the Most High, and He holds it. He holds whatever sin you have committed against you as well. So this is very important that we learn to do what? To deny ourselves, forgive, deny ourselves by forgiving. So this is where it stays. And bro, just to end it on Proverbs 3 verse 5, that whole passage, I just realized, sums up everything we have spoken about today. The whole Proverbs 3 from verse 1 all downwards, it speaks about all of this. So I'm just going to read through so that you pay attention. Let's start from verse 5. We'll come back to 1. It says, trust in Yahweh with all thine heart and lean not unto what? Your own understanding, but in all your ways do what? Acknowledge him. Let's continue. Verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy what? To thy navel, and marrow to the, and what? And marrow to thy bones. Honor Yahweh with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy what? And thy presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of what? Of who? Yahuwah. Neither be weary of what? Of his correction. For whom Yahuwah loveth, he does what? He correcteth. Even as a father, the son, in whom he delighteth. All right, let's go down. We almost there. I'll just sum it up. For whom Yahuwah loveth, he correcteth, even as the father, the son, in whom he delighteth. Now, how do we acknowledge Yahuwah in all our ways? Verse 1. We go back to verse 1. This is what it looks like to not lean on your own understanding. Verse 1 says, my son, my daughter also, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to what? To thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. This is what I leave everyone with. Ponder and meditate on this one. Shalom.
Shalom. Right. Thank you there, Shamuel. Kazak Aliyahu Yasharal here on Just a Word. Sorry you couldn't get this on the radio today. As we said, for those who are in our group, we are having fellowship meeting afterwards, so you can join us in. All right. For the others, thank you for watching, and please subscribe so you can get notifications of our teachings, and touch the notification bell so you can be notified, and like, comment. All right. Give us some likes, because that's how the system works. If you like it, not telling you to tell lies. If you don't like it, don't like. But if you like, do like, and give us comments so that the teachings can go out more and more. All right. So, shalom, everyone, and thank you. Let me see. Until next time, shalom to those on YouTube. All right. Shalom. All right. Is it off?
It's still on.
Yeah. There's a bug in it that keeps. Come on.